Hey YouTube, welcome back to the channel. Today we will be exploring Reefapalooza, Texas. A very nice event, and as you guys can see here, pretty packed. So I just wanted to share my experience at Reefapalooza, kind of share some of the vendors I shopped at, and just the overall experience. Alright, so I believe the very first booth I stopped by was Ocean Life Aquariums. They were based out in Houston. I really like it when the vendors put the prices on the outside of the frag racks. Not a lot of them do it. It kind of puts my mind at ease, you know, they're not making up the prices as we come and shop by. Really nice acros here. I think that strawberry shortcake really caught my eye, and I was thinking about buying it, but I ended up getting a very nice Gani coral. I'll show in a little bit. They had a nice selection of torches, as you guys can see here. Really nice. And there at the bottom right, I picked up one of the green Ganis there. And the couple next to me, they bought one of the Scolies. I forgot how much it was going for, but I was asking them, and it was the one right next to that very blue and red one, the other one. Alright, so one of the vendors I stopped by was Reef Aquaculture Specialist. They had an amazing selection. Here we see some of the mushrooms they had. Yuma, I believe this is just the regular Yuma, not the Florida. Moving on to the Ganis here. This specific vendor had a bunch of these very nice Ganis, all different colors. I did pick one Gani up from this vendor, and I'll probably showcase that in the next video I put out. But nothing too fancy. Just the regular, very bright tip Ganis really caught my eye. This one here, this orange one, I forgot the name of it, but they didn't call it the amazeballs, and I'm not too sure what classifies as an amazeball, so I'm gonna just drop that out there. On the right side, they had a bunch of Euphilia and Frimbophilia. So you see really nice torches here. So you can see that bright holy grail there in the middle. Some hammers on the right. They did catch a lot of the customers, so I'm hoping that their booth did very well. Towards the end of the show, I stopped by Clammania. They're really famous for their nice looking clams, as you guys can see here. I'm not too sure on like clam prices. I'm pretty sure they have like one of the best prices in the hobby. I'm not sure, there's a lot of clam vendors out there, but very helpful. I was curious myself to see what it took to keep one of these guys. I thought about buying one of the lower end ones. It was like a very basic gold looking little tiny clam that was going for roughly like 40 bucks. The only advice he offered was that you should keep these in 200 par, and sadly I don't measure my par, so I didn't want to take on that risk, but definitely almost pulling the trigger to get one. Alright, so one of the vendors I had to stop by was Reefworks. I did go to Reefworks last year and picked up two of my acros, the Merlin Staff and the Maleficent from him. Those are doing great and kind of growing out, so I had to come by to see what he had this year. I did pick out one acro from him. Like I mentioned, I'll show that in the next video. Really pleasant to talk to John. I had a nice little family that came up to me, and the dad was wondering if SPS was easy to keep. I told him that, you know, as long as you're not buying the high-end stuff, they're pretty easy to keep, and, you know, don't be too scared to try it out. Really nice family, got to know them a little bit, and I ended up giving a frag of my exospheres away and the purple monsters. I just brought some frags just in case I ran into anybody I knew, and I was like, you know what, I'm about to leave the show, I'll let these guys have it. I was kind of shopping around, and I looked over to my left, and there comes P&W Customs. He had this little Pico tank strapped to his chest. It was a 44 fluid ounces, or sorry, it might have been 40. But yeah, very nice. He had some hammers, Zoas. I think I even saw like a little plate core on there. Really caught my eye. Very neat and unique. I've never seen anything like it. Very stoked to see this. So very cool from P&W Customs, and shout out to them for letting me film that. One of the booths that really caught my eye was the Macro Lady. Just overall very different feel for you know, the typical kind of get oversaturated with all the corals. They set up some very nice, I forgot what these were called, maybe the tiki topes at the, I see that little sign there. But yeah, she was selling, of course, as you would expect, a lot of macroalgae, different types. I think I see some like red dragon, some other very nice ones. Overall, very calming to look at, and I really kind of appreciate just like the difference in some of these vendors. Here you can see like little mini seahorses on this little tree-like structure. I did not get to catch her name, but I searched it up and I found her Instagram page. I believe her name is Amanda. Overall, you can definitely tell she's a hobbyist at heart. and I think that's what separates her from some of these other vendors. Hey everybody, so I just got back from Reefapalooza, as you guys can see here in my wrist. Overall, it was a pretty good event. I would say this is I've gone 3 years in a row now. This is the first time I've gone on a Saturday, and I will say the turnout is probably like, I would say double or maybe even triple that typically of Saturday or Sunday. Sorry. So yeah, I would recommend going to Reefapaloozas on the Saturday because there's a lot more people. I do feel like you can get a better bargain for like deals and stuff on Sunday when the vendors are more, I'm not gonna say desperate, but they definitely want to get rid of their stuff. It's better to bring a little bit back home than a lot, because I know some of them travel pretty far to get to DFW. But overall, it was a nice event and pretty impressed. So there's that. Alright, so here I had some time to kind of sit down and think about Reefapalooza while I'm editing this video. The stuff you're going to be seeing on the screen is just stuff from my tank, so nothing really special. But like I mentioned in the clip earlier, overall was a great event, great turnout on Saturday. I did not go Sunday, so I can't speak on that. Overall, a lot of the people I met were very positive, and I don't think I've really ever met a rude reefer or anything like that. We're kind of just here and kind of vibing. I will say that some of the prices I saw were kind of insane. I mean, I think that's like some of the main shows. A lot of the well-known vendors, you know, of course, they're selling a lot of their stuff a lot greater price than some of the local hobbyists or vendors, I would say, that are like local within Texas. But overall, it wasn't too bad. A lot of the hammers I saw were roughly like $30 to $40 a head, which is pretty reasonable. I didn't see any new hammers I wanted to pick up. I think the holograms are kind of like the hot hammer right now, but I'm just not willing to pay that current price of like roughly $80 to like $125 a head. So it just really wasn't worth it for me. I remember I went to this one booth, and they had this very bright green alveopora. I honestly, there wasn't really anything special about it, you know, just a solid green, one color, no rainbow, no multicolor. I guess the only thing that really stood out was it was a little bit brighter than the rest, and they were trying to sell that thing for like $250 because it caught somebody's eye. And honestly, that price was a little insane, especially since, you know, the green Ghani or alveoporas typically go for roughly like, I'm gonna say like $30 is kind of like pushing already. So, you know, just stuff like that. And of course, there's always gonna be some absurd prices with the shrooms. I think I saw this one huge OG bounce to the credit, but it was selling for like 4K, and honestly, I don't know who has that kind of money to pop out 4K at these shows. Most of the vendors there, you know, they're always willing to negotiate as long as you're not lowballing them. I can recall one time I was at Reefworks and talking to John. I noticed he had 3 frags of the same acro that he was selling for, I believe, $60. I asked him about the smallest one and if he was willing to settle for 40, and you know, he was down for that. So you know, don't be afraid to ask. The worst they can say is no, but you also don't want to just go out there and just try to lowball these vendors. I do feel bad for some like the small vendors that come out, and you can tell like their tank is just not as set up. You know, their coral is a little bit closed or the water is a little bit clouded. So yeah, I'm hoping they were able to recover on Sunday. For the most part, I did not get to attend any of the talks, or I think they had an aqua escaping contest, but just there for roughly 2 hours. Didn't pick up too many corals. Was on budget this year, and honestly just didn't have space in my tank. So yeah, that kind of wraps up my experience at Reefapalooza this year. I'm looking forward to going to the next one. So I will catch you guys in the next video. Peace.